Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. This is Tamika's Den. I am Tamika. All right, y'all, get on in here. This is a review recap for 61st Street, okay? Sins of the Father, Season 1, Episode 6. So we started this episode off, you guys, with Moses with his raggedy ass daddy, okay? And him trying to talk to him and tell him about how America is all about lies, you know, that his lawyers basically just putting these high hopes on his shoulders, that he is trying to give him hope and dreams when there's nothing there, that he can't depend on him and all this other stuff. All right, I'm not feeling this daddy, okay? He basically wants Moses to feel defeated, give up, don't believe that Franklin is trying to help him, and wants him to work to, you know, basically pay for whatever help he gets from them while he's in jail, okay? Telling him he needs to forget about, going to college and all the other dreams that he might have had, that the faction wants him dead and he needs to wake up, okay? And basically he has to pay because this package is coming, is going to be in the yard, and he's going to handle it, all right? They ain't just going to protect him just because, all right? He has to earn his keep, okay? Protection is earned according to him. And so I'm over his daddy, and so is he, all right? He essentially walks away when he tells him that, the guy that went to jail for the diapers, okay, when Moses is walking out, basically tells him that they have the same lawyer and that he's not a good lawyer. If he's putting, his faith in him, he's putting it in the wrong person, because he basically got him sent to jail for 30 days for diapers, all right? And so he was like, bottom line with that guy, is all about him, not us. But we know that that's not true. But of course, the guy don't know that, right? I mean, the judge he had just really wanted to be, a dickhead. And the fact that Franklin went off on him did not help. But, now you have Moses go to see his mom in the visiting area. And of course, he's trying to make it seem to her like he's okay, and she's looking at his haircut and telling him, that he looks good and stuff like that. And he's basically, like I said, trying to be strong for her, trying to say that he's holding on. She asking him if he's strong in here, and he's saying yeah. And she was like, you know who you are, and don't let nobody or nothing make you feel any different. And she just basically keeps asking him, does he hear what she's saying to him? And he's basically like, yes, he does. We see Mama then, okay, have that same guy that came and gave her his card in the last episode that claimed he is a activist, right? Plumbing day and activist at night. He's riding up in his truck and he's bringing grocery, look like flowers, and some wine to her. So I'm like, okay, Mama called him up apparently, all right? And she done fixed up dinner, and they looking all comfy, and I'm like, Mama, is just something about this guy I don't trust, so please be careful, all right? He just seems real random to me, and it seems like it's more to his story that we do not know. We see in Joshua walking outside, and it's basically these cops that come, lighting up their lights or whatever, and hitting the siren for a minute, and you can see that he's getting flashes of the incident that happened to him, with when the cops came and when Tutu got shot in front of him and all of that. And it's looking like he got PTSD. So that's definitely not good, and so then when we get back to the guy and Moses' mom, he basically says, oh, I got something to tell you. And I'm like, what you got to tell her? Because like I said, I'm not feeling him. I'm not trusting it. But he going to talk about I don't got good taste in music. And then she starts laughing like, you scared me for a minute there. I thought you was going to really tell me something bad. I still think it's something more to him, okay? But he tries to turn it into a joke. And he's basically saying how he grew up, listening to his mother playing old school music, and he's stuck in 1975, and he liked the stylistics. I mean, listen, I don't blame him for that. I love me some stylistics. And saying that his mom died when he was 6 years old, and so she was telling him she's sorry for that. And all of a sudden, the lights basically go out. And so he's trying to see if either he could get them back on, and in the meantime, do she have some candles? And she's saying how she knows she paid her damn light bill. So she like, what's going on here? And he's telling her, relax, calm down, don't worry about it. And so in the mix of this, Joshua walks in, and of course, he didn't know she was having company. And again, we seeing that this boy definitely is having freaking anxiety, panic attacks, got post-traumatic stress, because he has a whole fit thinking that, the guy that's there for his mother is some guy that's coming after him, and he's scared and he jumps on the floor and he's running back and he's basically saying, I told y'all everything I knew, and their mother's telling him to calm down, and so is the guy. We have Moses' mom the next day go and see Martha, of course, Franklin's wife, and she's basically like, I have to tell you this. And she's like, so, what is it that you have to tell me? Because she was about to like make them some drinks or whatever, and she was like, you came all the way over here to tell me you're not gonna vote for me and trying to make jokes. But essentially she ends up letting her know that, you know she seen her mentioning Rupert's name, and she don't think that is too good of an idea for her to be mentioning it, okay? He was a snitch, and she was like, you don't need nothing coming back to bite you on the behind. And so she's like, what? She was like, yeah, Rufus Porter was a snitch. He was a CBD informant, okay? And so she was like, oh my God, Martha is saying this. And she was like, I just didn't want you to get caught up in anything, but you can't say anything, all right? Not even to your husband. And she was like, you know how it is. The family's got to pay. And she was like, yeah, I get it. She was like, I just didn't want like reporters and stuff like that to dig into it. And then it come out that way, and it makes it worse for everybody. And then, mess up your campaign if they really start digging. So she was like, yeah, you're right, at the end of the day. And so, they both was just kind of standing there like they don't know what to say. And again, I'm just like, I'm glad she told her, but I'm kind of like, she's going to Martha. Rufus's, aka Tutu mom, is going to Martha, and really they should be talking to each other so that they could be on the same page, so that a situation we see happens with Tutu mother later in the episode would not happen. Y'all not all talking to each other. But nonetheless, Martha asked her how's her son doing, and she immediately thought she meant Moses. She was like, he's hanging in there the best he can. The fact that he has your husband is making a big difference. And she was like, I was talking about Joshua. And she was like, well, him, he's basically having a hard time too. Remember that Rufus got killed in front of him. And she was like, how's any 15-year-old boy supposed to cope with that? Okay. And so we then see that Franklin is going over the scene again. Now he looked like he have more people working with him. Okay, they telling him about the trajectory, how they go by, when the wind was blowing, with other cars or, whatever else is in the area. The fact that they could have went into the train, but the train was running late, so they already ruled that out. They breaking it down. And the same lawyer that has showed up at the cookout that his mom was doing is basically there with him too now. And so she is trying to help in the ways that she can help, and she's noticing that Franklin is in pain. And so they say, they're going to test whatever they can find. They actually do, a test and fire their bullet to see how far it would go. And, he was asking what exactly is the chances of, him finding the bullet. So I'm like, okay, because they all like, it goes 45 seconds and this and that amount of yards. Like, they narrowing it down pretty much. And so you have Joshua come in the kitchen, and he's seeing that mama friend is over here fixing stuff under the sink, looking all comfortable in his tank top, and he's asking him like, so you my mother boyfriend now? And then the guy's asking him, well, are you a dope boy now? And he was like, well, what make you say that? He was like, come on now, I seen that knot that you put inside the bucket that day. I said he saw it, all right? And it's like, why are you being so nosy? Why do you want to know? So that's why I'm still feeling like he's up to more. And he's basically saying, oh, he does odd jobs and he been saving up. And, how does he still know for a fact that it comes from that? He's asking him how he got the mark on his arm that he have. And he was like, oh, from being stupid when I was young. So then he gonna tell him, well, I won't tell your mom about what I saw with the money if you don't tell her, that I have this idea for Moses. I have a way to help him or whatever the case may be. But I could see that she really don't be wanting to talk to me about Moses. And I could respect that. And I'm sorry, I'm not trusting it. Like, now all of a sudden you want to hold secrets and want to supposedly tell Joshua this secret that's supposed to help Moses. What is it? And so until I see different, I'm not trusting this guy. The radars is up on him. We have them still going over this bullet, right? And they are going over calls that they got. They was able to rule 2 bullets out that they know is definitely doesn't have anything to do with the shooting. And they're saying this call that came in from a lady at about 4:20 saying that she heard shots or whatever the case may be. And so David comes in excited in the mix of that because, you know, Franklin was supposed to be taking him on the boat, and of course Franklin is so caught up into this that he forgot about it. So he tells David to sit down for a minute, and you know David gonna count that minute up exact. You can't just tell him it's gonna be just 1 minute. And so then he tells him a couple of minutes, and David puts his headphones on like to listen to music and walking around or whatever while they still discussing it, and he makes a mistake and knocks over the equipment they had there, and Franklin basically loses it. And then of course this makes, you know, David upset, and then of course this makes Martha upset by making him upset, and he's trying to apologize to him about that. And then the guy lets him know that, you know, the equipment is fine or whatever the case may be. And so, you know, we see that this lawyer and David is now riding in the car, right? He's basically going, I guess, to drop her off and then take David and get him on the boat like he promised. So at least, even though he was going late and all caught up into his stuff, at least he did keep his word. At one point, the lawyer's turning around telling David, you know, your dad is a good guy. And then she tells Franklin that she wants to be second chair. And at first he's like, well, you know, we're so different and we have different ways of doing things and different objectives. And she was like, that makes it even better. That's why it's such a good idea. And then she was like, what, you worried about the fact that, you know what I'm saying, I'm white? And so then she starts laughing, and he was like, what's so funny? And she basically was like, just thinking about the case particulars. So as a matter of fact, before he even dropped her off, they did go to see the witness that made the phone call, and they see that this lady is pulling out her booze. She got her stuff, her music playing. So he like, oh great, you know, a day drinker. When he come up to her, she took him out, wait a minute, you know, all caught up into her stuff. And then when she finished, she like, how can I help you? So he was like, you know, hopefully you could help me with the fact that you called in this shooting. You know, is it possible that you could have heard it before the time you called? And she was like, yeah, it was before the time. He was like, could it have been an hour? And she said, yeah, possibly. And so they're asking her why she didn't call right away. And she said she called when she could. Okay, honey, she got other things that she was doing. So she was like, it don't matter anyway because nobody ever showed up, and they didn't even want to look at my baby. So they like, what do you mean look at your baby? Honey, the bullet had went into her daggone van. And so he was like, oh wow, we was hoping, you know what I'm saying, to find a bullet, but now we found in a hole. Well, apparently, okay, Miss Girl done saved that bullet, took it out. I guess she felt like, shoot, it could have hit me, but it just hit my van, and was wearing it as a lucky charm around her neck. She talking about she done won the lottery and all kind of stuff, a scratch off or whatever, since she got it, and this is her good luck charm. So they wanted to look at it for a minute, but she wasn't trying to let it from around her neck. And here come David saving the day, because David walked up and told her, well, miss, bullets kill, okay? Bullets are bad, and when it goes into your body, it could hurt you really bad, or either it could kill you, it could make you bleed, you know what I'm saying, all kind of crazy. He was like, no bullet is not no good luck, and it's not going to help you with no lot. And then he introduces himself like, I'm David. And so, you know, of all people, David was actually the one to get through to her and make her change her mind. She couldn't even say nothing when he said that. And when he was like, you know, I'm David, what's your name? I think she said either Dolores or Dorothy. It was something with a D. And so Franklin says, gotcha, right? And she basically was like, yeah, okay, because you couldn't argue with that. And so Moses is watching his father in the cell, excuse me, doing codes on the toilet bowl, okay? Morse code and talking through the toilet. And then he trying to tell him to come and say hi. And Moses like, I don't want to say hi to nobody through no toilet. Like, I'm good. You know, Joshua's over here working in these guys' house, looking at them, you know, counting money. The guy counts up all this money in the suitcase and tells the other guy he's good. And he's like, of course I am. I'm always good. And then he tells Joshua, like, I'm thirsty, so go get me something to drink. And when Joshua walks to the front to go to the fridge and get it, and he's coming back, he sees that the guy done stepped inside of a room and is basically taking out one of the knots and putting it in his damn pants. So he's basically stealing, from him after he just finished telling him he good. And then Joshua goes back to the living room, and I'm like, is he gonna tell him? Nah, I ain't see him tell him. Okay, he passes him his bill, whatever, and he tells him thank you. And then he's showing him some girl on the cell phone and how cute she look and all of this different kind of stuff. And he like, give me a minute, and he leaves. And then Joshua's looking at the money on the table like if he tempted to steal something too, since he seen the other guy was stealing something. And I'm like, don't do it, Joshua. Okay, you already in over your damn head as it is. We have Tutu mother come again to see Martha, okay, and at this point she is basically ready to go in on her. She don't even wait. She sees she on the phone in the middle of a call. She talking over her while she's on the call, and then the lady comes over and was like, is everything okay? Basically Martha's assistant. She's like, yeah, it is. And then she gets off the phone and takes her outside. So Tutu mother talking about, oh, are you embarrassed of me? I'm embarrassing you now. She's like, no, I just wanted to come outside where it's more quiet and we could talk. And she basically was like, well, I haven't heard you say my son's name, I'm saying, since the press conference she did. And she's telling her she has reasons that she can't say her name, but she also can't tell her, which is the truth. This puts her in a real, bind or whatever. And so, of course, Tutu mama is going off talking about, oh, y'all just use me. You and your husband is one and the same. And y'all all for the crap or whatever the case may be. Y'all just want to run behind these other people. And basically was like, nah, I get it. I was right about you from the beginning. Old St. Franklin. Y'all think y'all so much higher than everybody else and all of this stuff. And so she started to tell Martha about, oh, you a pimp. And Martha was like, I'm a pimp. And so, Martha got a little something in her too, okay, where she get fired up. At this point, she over it. So she was like, you know what? Yeah, I am a pimp, all right? What you think your cut should be? What are you worth, all right? How much is it, all right? And apparently, she got Tutu mom out there for a minute too, because she was like, I will go inside and get whatever you feel like your cut is supposed to be right now. How much was it worth? And so apparently Tutu's mom has got some type of cut of money, all right? And she's telling her, I never wanted to say your son's name, and I don't want to have to say all the other sons' names that it could be. And no matter how you may feel about me, and I don't blame you, I really was trying to help and trying to do the best that I can, and I really do care. And so basically she was asking Tutu mom about what kind of cut, because apparently she has gotten money off of this. And she was like, what, I was supposed to sit back and be broke and not get nothing or whatever? And at the same time, she still basically continued to call out Martha as a pimp, even after saying all of that and being like, I didn't mean it in that way, and that's not what I'm saying, and that's not what I'm doing. When Martha was asking her what cut she wanted, she still proceeds, as Martha is walking away to go back inside, to say, you are a pimp, girl. P-I-M-P. Okay, remember the 50 Cent song? I don't know what you heard about me. I was like, stop it, lady. Cut it out, all right? But I'm a mother. P-I-M-P. All right? So, anyway, we get Logan out with this new officer. He's going to lunch. And we have the guy, Zante, with the dreads. Basically, the lady's like, it's already paid for. And Zante is saying over in the car. And he basically like... And so Logan picks up the phone call. Sergeant was like, we're going to need an answer about that offer soon. And Sarge tells him to meet him at 5:30. Okay? We then see Moses basically acting like he doing exercises or whatever. And we see the van coming that's supposed to, drop this package. In the mix of that, we see some kind of fight breaking out. I guess that was supposed to be a diversion with one guy looking like he about to drop a weight on the other guy. And Moses starts running to hurry up to get to the spot to be able to pick up the stuff. Because at this point, honestly, I don't know if they was doing that to help him or hurt him. But if he wouldn't have ran the way that he did and hurried up and jumped on top of it, because at this point the sirens started going off and all the guards started running out and all the prisoners had to get down. So if Moses didn't reach it on time and get down when he did, then that would have been their ass and they would have found the product. And so he was able to put it down inside of his, drawers like the guy basically told him to do. And then when he got back inside, the father like, oh, you did a good job. You know what I mean? This first time or whatever the case may be. And this is how it's going to work. So this man just happy to have another damn worker. He don't care nothing about this being his child. Then, you have Moses call and speak to Joshua. And when he's calling the Father Speaks, which is his street name, game name, whatever, Joshua talking about some, why are you calling him that? He's your father. And, he's telling him, well, because Moses mentioned to him how they had been trying to get him to be a part of, they thing, and how faction was after him. He was like, well, you got to do what you got to do when you locked up and things is different. And then he's telling him that him and the mom is holding it down on the outside. And Joshua's like, look at you, Mr. Joshua Johnson. And he was like, yeah, you got to be the man in the house now. And I'm so proud of you. But Joshua know that he ain't been doing everything that he supposed to be doing right either. So, of course, he wants to cut the conversation short at that point. Okay. And so, his father still essentially was still trying to tell him that he has to earn his keep. And I'm so over that man. Logan meets up with Sarge and he asked him what he think about Dante, right? Sarge basically asked Logan what he thought about Dante. And he was like, I think it's good. I mean, it would be 5% more. And so Sarge claims that the faction already takes care of them good. All right. They are living lovely off the faction, but I know he's full of crap, because with him it's supposedly all about who's the highest bidder and who was given the most money. Remember, that's what he told Michael to begin with. But now when it's Logan, you trying to make it seem like you don't care about getting more money. And then basically Sarge just comes out and says, why would he switch with them? He's happy with them, and he's gonna ask him if Michael told him that he was looking into him. And so Logan is looking confused, and he basically throws Logan up against the back of the truck, and then he's like, what's that all about? And he was like, well, Michael was looking into us, and Rufus, okay, aka Tutu, was basically getting chatty and telling him all about the faction and what he knew. And so things just went together that day or whatever. It's not like this is how they planned it, but, if anything, Michael got off easy, okay, which means they would have they would have went after Michael anyway, and he got off easy with the fact that Rufus just so happened to have a gun. But at the end of the day, they would have took out Rufus and they would have took out Michael too, okay? That's what that boiled down to. And so, after he tells, Logan that, he basically says, tell Dante we have a deal. And of course, Logan is looking all crazy or whatever. And I'm like, Logan, you another one that's in over your head. You was been in over your head. I don't know what you thinking that you are about to accomplish, okay? And so you have Franklin, bring Moses a suit for court tomorrow. And, he's telling him just last year this suit used to fit him or whatever. Now it don't anymore. And so Moses is scared about getting on the stand. But he was like, you don't got to worry about that right now. Tomorrow's going to be all about me. But he does give him the breakdown of what to expect when he does get on the stand. Logan is with Dan Michael's wife again in the kitchen. Okay, you can't seem to keep them two away from each other at this point. They drinking wine and she's asking, what do I wear to the trial of the man that killed my husband? And he's basically telling her, you wear all black. And if you feel like you need to cry, go ahead and cry, whatever the case may be, because that's the stuff that juries look at. And then, of course, she starts to get sad and she says, you never know when the grief is going to take over. And then Logan rushes in and they kiss. And at this point, I was like, or whatever, y'all, okay, because they was going to kiss regardless, because every time you turned around, they wanted to damn kiss. So I guess get it over with, whatever, And so Moses, mom gives Franklin Moses' mother gives Franklin $4,000 when he stops by the house, and he says if he really didn't need it, he wouldn't take it, okay? But he do got bills to pay, all right? And he also tells her that they found the bullet. And so, when Franklin comes home, Martha's over here sitting in the dark looking all depressed. And he's like, what's wrong, lady? What's going on? And she basically was like, what if I win? And he was like, what? And so at first when she was talking, she was like, what if I win? What if I actually win this? How am I going to make it? How am I going to survive? And it was sounding like she was kind of feeling insecure and having second thoughts about it. But no, then she starts getting deeper into it. And she's like, you basically lied to me. This was supposed to be my turn. I supported you for a certain amount of time. Then you were supposed to turn around and support me. And I was able to support you in that way with staying home, being with David, taking care of the house and everything else. But now I'm not going to be able to depend on you in that way going forward for our situation. And he's basically saying he's not a liar, that's not fair. He's like, what are you doing, what are you doing? And she was like, no, what are you doing? She was like, you haven't even been taking your daggone medicine, okay? You know that this is a medicine that could save your life, and you at least have to try. And he's telling her he haven't been taking it because he don't want to have to deal with the side effects and stuff. And she was like, so what are you more worried about? You know, he's saying that he have to be able to have his head, you know, all the way in for this court case tomorrow with Moses. And she like, you know, basically, who the hell you worried about, Moses or yourself at this point, okay? Because if not, then you gonna damn die, all right? That's what it boils down to. And so she basically brings him in for this hug and tells him, you know, I thought I married a man of integrity and courage, okay? And apparently I was wrong. And then she left the medicine on the table with it open, and he basically walks over to the table, closes the medicine case, and still ain't taking it, and was just standing there. So you know how that go when a hard-headed daggone man, you know, don't want to listen, all right? I had one of those before, so I know, okay, that was sick. The sick man could be one of the worst men out there. But nonetheless, y'all, that was the episode. I don't know what y'all thinking. We only got 2 left. Is he gonna get Moses off or what? Is Joshua about to be in some mess? What is this mother new boyfriend, you know, into? And is Martha gonna win this election? You know, I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. But anyway, tell me what y'all thought about this episode. Put it all in the comments. Let's discuss. Until next time, toodaloo.